The biggest war in the tech world isn't happening in secret labs or at flashy product launches. It's happening quietly deep inside the software we all use every single day. Microsoft, Google, and OpenAI, three of the world's most powerful technology players, are fighting a hidden war, not for your attention, not for your clicks, but for something far more valuable: control over the future of intelligence itself. Let's rewind for a second. Just a few years ago, software was simple. You paid for a tool, Word, Excel, Gmail, or Slack, and you used it to get your work done. But in 2023, everything changed. AI entered the chat. Suddenly, every major SaaS company realized something terrifying. Their biggest competitor wasn't another app, it was a brain. Artificial intelligence powered by massive models like ChatGPT changed what software even means, and that's where this war began. Let's start with Microsoft, the first major player to make its move. In early 2023, while other companies were still experimenting with AI, Microsoft went all in. They invested over $13 billion in OpenAI, giving them access to the most powerful AI model on Earth, GPT-4. This wasn't just a partnership, it was a power play, because Microsoft didn't just want to use OpenAI, they wanted to own the AI layer inside every product they sell. And they succeeded. Microsoft integrated GPT technology into Office 365, creating Copilot, an AI assistant that writes emails, summarizes meetings, codes in Visual Studio, and even creates PowerPoint presentations automatically. It was genius. Because suddenly, Microsoft wasn't just selling software anymore, they were selling intelligence. Every Microsoft tool, from Outlook to Excel, now had a built-in AI brain. And if you wanted that intelligence, you had to subscribe. This move turned Microsoft into not just a SaaS company, but an AI infrastructure company with billions in recurring revenue powered by OpenAI. But there was one problem. While Microsoft was busy building AI into everything, their oldest rival Google wasn't going to stay silent. For over a decade, Google ruled the web. They owned search, ads, cloud, and even the backbone of the internet. But when ChatGPT exploded in popularity, Google panicked. Internally, Google declared a code red, because for the first time in 25 years, someone had built a product that threatened Google's core business, search. When millions of users started asking ChatGPT questions instead of Googling it, Google realized their empire was under attack, so they fought back fast. They launched Bard, which later evolved into Gemini, their own large language model designed to compete directly with OpenAI. But Google didn't stop there. They began injecting AI across all their products: Gmail, Docs, Sheets, and especially Google Cloud, a space dominated by Microsoft Azure. Their strategy was clear. If Microsoft was turning software into intelligent assistants, Google would do the same, but with data, because Google has something Microsoft doesn't: data on everything. Emails, documents, searches, maps, YouTube videos, every bit of user behavior. And they used it to train AI systems that could predict, recommend, and automate tasks far beyond what GPT could do. But while Microsoft and Google were battling for market share, there was one player quietly shaping the battlefield itself: OpenAI. OpenAI was never meant to be a typical SaaS company. It started as a non-profit research lab founded by Elon Musk and Sam Altman to make sure artificial intelligence benefited all of humanity. But as their technology grew more powerful, the stakes grew higher, and the mission shifted from open research to global dominance. When OpenAI launched ChatGPT, it didn't just create a chatbot, it created a platform. A platform that people could build businesses, tools, and workflows on top of. Within a year, millions of developers were building AI SaaS startups using the OpenAI API, and OpenAI became the invisible engine powering the next generation of software. Every automation platform, every productivity tool, every AI startup, many of them relied directly on OpenAI's technology. That's the ultimate power move. While Microsoft and Google are fighting for customers, OpenAI is quietly becoming the foundation for everyone else's SaaS tools. It is as if they've built the intel inside of the AI era, powering the apps that power the world. But here's where the war gets complicated, because Microsoft isn't just a partner to OpenAI, they're also a partial owner. Microsoft's Azure cloud is where OpenAI's models actually run, so every time a startup uses ChatGPT or GPT-4 through OpenAI's API, Microsoft gets paid too. That means Google is fighting not just one company, but two allies, OpenAI and Microsoft, working in tandem, are dominating both the SaaS and infrastructure layers of the AI revolution. It's a perfect business trap. OpenAI makes the intelligence, Microsoft sells it through software, and both win. But Google has one card left to play, and it's a big one: scale. Google's AI model, Gemini, has the advantage of being trained on far more diverse data, and with their search dominance, YouTube, and Android ecosystem, Google has billions of daily interactions that feed into their AI. That's something Microsoft and OpenAI simply don't have. Google's long-term plan isn't just to compete, it's to build a fully integrated AI ecosystem where your Gmail, Docs, and Calendar all work together through one AI brain that knows your habits, routines, and even your tone of communication. Imagine your Gmail drafting an email, your Calendar rearranging meetings, and your Docs summarizing projects automatically based on what you said in a Google Meet. That's the real battle. AI ecosystems, not products. Because once an AI assistant knows your data, your workflow, and your behavior, you'll never switch platforms again. And that's the future both companies are racing toward: total lock-in. Not because of software, but because of intelligence dependency. In the future, switching from Microsoft to Google won't just mean losing your files, it'll mean losing your AI's memory of you, your preferences, your history, your tone, your patterns gone. That's how the SaaS war becomes personal. AI becomes your digital brain, and whichever company owns that brain owns you. Now let's talk about the next player entering this battlefield: Apple. Because while Microsoft, Google, and OpenAI are fighting in the open, Apple has been silent. Until now. Apple recently began developing Apple Intelligence, its own AI system integrated deeply into iPhones, Macs, and iPads, and they're partnering with, ironically, OpenAI to bring ChatGPT into Siri. This move signals that even Apple, the world's most valuable company, couldn't stay out of the AI war. But here's the twist: Apple isn't trying to dominate AI SaaS, they're trying to own the interface. In Apple's vision, AI isn't a subscription you buy, it is a seamless experience that lives inside your ecosystem. That's why Apple's play is subtle but powerful. Let others build AI brains, while they build the world everyone uses to access those brains. So where does this all lead? We're witnessing the SaaS Revolution 2.0, a world where software no longer just performs tasks but thinks for you. And the winners of this war will control not just what you use, but how you think, decide, and work. Microsoft wants AI to be your work partner. Google wants AI to be your personal assistant. OpenAI wants AI to be the foundation for everything. And Apple wants to own the screen you use to talk to it. Every product update, every feature launch, every Copilot or Gemini is just another move on the chessboard. But in the end, there's only room for one king: the one who owns the data, the one whose AI you trust the most, the one who becomes too useful to ever live without. Right now, Microsoft is leading thanks to its early partnership with OpenAI and rapid integration of Copilot across all products. But Google isn't out, they're betting on scale, cloud dominance, and the world's data backbone. And OpenAI? They're sitting in the middle, collecting the toll from both sides as the invisible engine behind the world's new software economy. This isn't just a war for software dominance. It's a war for the digital soul, for who shapes the intelligence that shapes humanity. And as this hidden war unfolds, one truth is becoming clearer every day. In the age of AI, the line between SaaS and intelligence no longer exists. The apps you use are no longer tools, they are becoming minds, and whichever company wins this war will decide how those minds think.